by the end of the show, it always catches up. But you were saying you had a good day, question mark. Define question mark.
Okay.
Not literally, because I know what an actual...
You know, it looks like a squiggle, and squiggle is a dot. You know that green guy?
Oh, right, the upside down
fights?
version of the Spanish punctuation mark.
Yeah, the question mark is the right side up Spanish thing. This whole week at work has been wild. We all come in on Monday morning, and the trees outside the office are all cut down suddenly. No word, no notice.
Like completely gone, or like trimmed, like a bunch of the...
stumped, Kyle.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it stumped all of you, too.
Mm-hmm. I sit right next to the window. I got so used to those trees. I loved my trees. And the entire building just looks so bare, and it just looks like a wasteland from the outside. Nobody likes it. And the property manager says, maybe in the fall we'll get different trees. Like, the fall is...
That's not
7 months away.
You can transport tree, but not ones that... No, that's not how it works. That's not how nature works.
I understand, like, they were getting a little big. Maybe they're not exactly built for the space, okay, but, like, why are you just going to leave us for months with no trees?
The only thing I could think of would be there's a problem with the roots, and the roots are getting into the foundation and messing up that, but then... Yeah, I feel like they would have told you something like, hey, there might be some problems with the building down the road here. We're going to need to get these out. Who knows?
We haven't been in this building this long. We've only been here, like, not even 2 years. So we would have known if the trees were a problem.
I don't think you were ever on the podcast when it happened. So the job that I have now, I've been there for almost 4.5 years. We used to be in a different building. And it was right on campus. And in fact, it was right by the comic book store that I go to. Ooh. And I started the job my last semester, like as a senior there. And so it was perfect. I would like go to work, get off of work, go to the comic book store, or head home, or go to class, or do something. It was all right there. And then eventually we moved buildings, but they didn't tell me they were moving.
What?
No.
Kyle, this is a literal nightmare come to life.
Almost like so. I mean, I noticed things were kind of starting to be packed up, but it like not enough to be like, what's going on here? Like what's up with this? Because apparently they had hired like a moving company just to move all of the stuff like on a weekend, and so it was going to be the thing where I don't work weekends. So if no one had told me, like, I would have just showed up on Monday and the building would have been empty.
Oh no, Kyle, you're the last man alive.
Yeah, and so I went into work, and my office in that building was not actually an office. Again, when I started, I was a like part-time student worker. And so I was only getting like 10 hours each week. It was minimal. But at the time we were moving, I was, I think, the only student worker left. All the rest of them had quit or moved on or gone home, for the summer and stuff like that. And apparently they were having like an orientation at the new building. And everyone was leaving, and my supervisor, I guess, like, forgot his coat or something, and came back into the building, was like, you're still here. I was like, yeah, I'm scheduled to work. And he was like, oh, no, we're all having a, like, the orientation thing at the new building. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. What new building? He's like, the new building we're moving to? And I was like, we're moving? Like, what are you talking about? He's like, has no one... Follow me.
Oh my God.
And yeah, it was awful. Just, it's so strange how things, how just seemingly big things can go like unspoken. It's just like, how did you not know that?
Was there not a group email, a flyer? This relied solely on word of mouth?
I don't know. It's one of those weird things. Like, I started working there, and I've like my supervisor, my supervisor's supervisor, they all kind of treated me like exactly what I thought I was, the part-time help. I'm just a student worker. I'm not actually a part of the crew. I'm not staff or anything like that. I never had to go to staff meetings, never had to do any of that stuff. It was just like, you show up, we'll assign you some stuff, and that's it. And then you can leave. And I was sitting there like, can I get more hours? This is nothing. There's like 5 student workers doing like one person's job. I can do all of that. Just give me all of the work. And eventually they all, left. And then you guys don't care about my job and all that stuff.
I care about your job. Oh, hold on. Before we get much farther, I'm going to do it this time. Welcome to the Whatnauts Captain's Log. I've never done it before.
Yeah, because that's my line.
You didn't say it yet.
She's like, you're taking all the hours. You're doing 5 people's job. Just give me all the work. This is episode 59 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log.
See, I couldn't even do the whole thing because I don't know what the number is. I just wanted to start the thing.
Yeah.
Pow! Race is on.
My name is Kyle Springer. That's Melissa Wilkinson. Welcome.
It's me.
To this week's episode of the show where we talk about all sorts of nonsense each week because it's our off-topic show.
I have more work nonsense. I was not done with work nonsense. Not like you cut me off or anything, just like whole week at work. So every day we come in and it's this terrible every day. Again, that's right. The trees are gone. You forget. Because you're so used to them being there, and you get there and you're like, oh no. Oh, I still have to live like this.
We can't live without trees.
We really sincerely don't like it because we sit at the front of the building by these huge picture windows. We can see everything outside. Mm-hmm. And it's just bland and bright.
You can see people. They can see you.
Right, it's terrible. Oh, there's not as many birds flying around because they're not like nesting in the trees or anything. I'm getting fewer, birds in my day. This is something I've learned about myself. Like, it's great to see a bird. Like, it's great for your soul when you see a bird.
Bird is the word.
You've heard it here first, folks. Nowhere else before here. This is original to us.
Completely original, just like the song lyrics in the tweet that I sent out this week to say that we were live for the...
All of these ourselves. And today, there's a power glitch. Like, the lights kind of flicker around, like, 2 o'clock or something. Completely clear day. Not a cloud in the sky. Nothing going wrong, nothing to indicate, seems like it might be connected to that. Like, there's no work trucks in the area doing power line maintenance or anything. It just sort of flashes for a little bit and it doesn't go out because like a backup generator or something kicks on, but a bunch of people's computers short out.
Sure.
Some of my coworkers were like, well, I give up. Goodbye, everybody. I'm just going home now. I can't get my computer to turn back on. See ya. And this knocks the AC out as well.
Yeah.
But
that would make sense.
The building was pretty cooled to begin with. So there's a lot of coolness still hanging in the air. It's not a big deal yet. It knocked out the white noise generator we have because this is a big kind of open floor plan. It's like an open floor plan, like tall ceilings. Like, we need this just to dampen all of the echoes.
Sure.
Because when it's not on, everything is incredibly loud.
Yeah.
With my headphones on, even like all I can hear is typing. Somebody's wearing flip-flops. I can hear them from the other side of the building. It's not good, but my computer is working and I'm like, I'm going to stick this out. I've got work to finish. And and then they said, "Well, the IT guy really wants to shut everything down and boot it back up and make sure everything is working, so everybody get out of the building." Like, I'm not done yet. I I have things to finish.
Do you have
Captain
a
broke down from ship.
laptop to work from?
Uh,
Can you do that at all?
I mean, I got this one, just, my home
Your
model.
own one? Yeah. Not the same,
Some
but
some people in the office who are on, like, a work from home program, because we have grown so much. This is a beautiful, prosperous company I am in. We are growing so much, we are running out of physical desks to put people in.
oh yeah, we've had the same thing. We moved to a
Yeah.
new building. The building we have is now like 2 maybe 3 times bigger, and we're still running out of space, and it's
Yes,
just like,
exactly,
how?
same. So
Guys
some
didn't
people are
plan
on
this out.
desk sharing where it's like you have the desk Monday, Tuesday, and alternate Fridays, and somebody else has the desks Wednesday, Thursday, the other Fridays.
Speaking of that, I should share you a video. It's a Rooster Teeth
Uh-huh.
video. They'll sometimes do these little short films, and they did one kind of about that. But to the point where instead of just desk sharing, they didn't hire someone, but like some new person started heading there, claiming they were another person, and the guy's like, "No, I'm John. You're not John. I'm John. You can't be here. What are you doing?"
Yeah,
and
we
it's like,
don't have
"No,
identity
I'm
sharing.
John. What are you talking? I've always been John. Go away." That's bad. So your desk share. Have you had to like fight for your desk
Oh no,
space? No,
no.
you're
I
good.
I lay claim to this. I let them know as soon as they started doing this. No, I want to be here all the time. I don't like working from home. I'm very social. I like to be at the office. And thankfully, I'm like
I
the
would work at
quest.
home if I could, and I
No, I don't like it. Too
technically I
solitary.
can sometimes. It's weird. We're of the generation that we grew up with computers and stuff like
Mhm.
that, so we know our way around them. But there's still certain things that I just don't understand how to use, like more IT
Uh-huh.
end of stuff. So for a lot of big corporations, you or just it for your own personal life, you need a VPN, right? A
Mhm.
virtual private network to make sure that
Yeah.
hackers won't steal all your data
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And that's a big thing for companies because they got a lot of private and confidential information. And so I have a laptop that I can technically take home, and I take it home because they tell us to when there's like, hey, it's gonna be a snowstorm. We don't
Yeah.
know if it'll be open on Monday. You should take your laptops home if you have them. But I don't know if I have a VPN set up on the
Hmm.
like I think we have one
Yeah.
for our like the Wi-Fi that we use and stuff like so anyone who's on that it just like it's at the router level, but
Mhm.
I don't because I've asked about like can I work from home if I need to like if like the cable guy is coming and they're like yeah it's fine you can do that just make sure you have this thing and that blah 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 and I'm just like I'm gonna take that day off.
Mm, mm, mm.
I'm not gonna even bother with that.
Ugh. So yeah, I we have the capability to work from home. All the work we do is actually in browser, which is super convenient. Like
That's not bad.
there's no proprietary software portals or any nonsense like that anymore. So I can take my work home. I like my office. I am very very organized, meticulous about my work desktop. This is the most organized thing in my entire life. All of my programs, my windows, my tabs, my settings, my favorites. I have it all set up to be perfectly efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And when I come home, I've got my old laptop that doesn't have real Microsoft Office. It doesn't have real Adobe Acrobat. The screen's not big. I have a secondary monitor I can plug it into, but it is an old monitor that is a
Okay.
square.
Oh God.
Yeah. It's
That's yeah.
before we made the top and bottom of it longer to make rectangles. That's how old. So I can work from home. I'm just so much slower and I don't like it. Like I'm the person that will go into work like, okay, I'm not that sick. Okay, it's not snowing that hard. Okay, I'll take off today, but I'm coming in on Saturday so that I can be at my own desk and my own computer. But we had to. Everybody had to leave. Like I'm stuck. I have to work from home.
I'm imagining the like dystopian office space comedy where you're in an office where people have to desk share, so desk time becomes a highly valued commodity, and people are like trading desk time for water and stuff like that. And
That'll be me. That'll be me. Yeah, I'm set in my ways about work.
Yeah.
I do not want them to move me. I want to be at that same desk, at that same computer for the next 40 years.
Oh, God.
But
Melissa's a company woman.
Yes. One more note about The Office. This is mostly for me. I don't know if you should care, but yesterday was the first day out of, I think, this entire calendar year where everybody finished everything.
Oh, nice. So just like, not even like, I'll finish that on Monday or something. And
everything we had, because we track this.
I feel like that's a 1 in a like bajillion chance.
I mean, it's what we're really supposed to be doing.
Saying there's a chance?
There is.
Shout out to all you dumber fans out there.
We did it once. We all did it yesterday. I felt like we earned like a pizza party or something. Like I want something. It is what we are supposed to be doing technically. Yes, you always should finish all of your work every day. Isn't that what we hired you for? Aren't you supposed to have that 24-hour turnaround time? But so often it's like, okay, I couldn't get to that thing. Ran out of time. This other project came up. This is the first time we've all done, everybody, the entire department, everybody did everything. We all helped each other. We all came together and we made it real. So
Maybe
I
the
hope
power should go out more often.
Well, that's the thing. Like the power went out today, and so I'm like, I have to finish everything today. I have to keep this record going. I don't know what the heck the rest of the office did, but hopefully, they didn't let having to work from home or leave early or whatever get the best of them, and 2 days in a row, and then that we could make it Monday and the rest of the week and the rest of July, and then we'll do it. We will be the magic department that the client has always wanted us to be. And then we're going to start rolling in the big bucks.
Let's add that to the dystopian timeline of Melissa's office. They have an actual magic department.
Magic department.
It's like, yes, Cindy, you're going to need to talk to Tim down in the magic apartment, or the magic department. It's an apartment. It's just a whole house.
Don't think that I haven't spent a lot of time thinking, what if my job was in a fantasy world? A lot.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of time.
Yeah.
I made up my own magic system for exactly what I do now, but fantastic.
That would be interesting. Stuff like that started happening. I'm convinced that people at my job think that the stuff that I do in my job takes a lot longer than it actually does.
That's how you've described it to me.
And so I always say I have a love-hate relationship with my job. It's not really what I want to be doing, but they pay me really well, and for the most part, if I don't have anything to do, I can just sit there. I can read comics, I can watch YouTube videos, I can do all that stuff.
Yes.
But I have multiple supervisors that all assign me stuff, and it's almost started to become a pet peeve of mine that they will apologize when they send me work. They're like, Kyle, I'm so sorry, but I need you to do this one thing. And I'm just like, yeah, that's my job. What I'm supposed to do.
I'm the one thing guy.
Like, you don't need to apologize. It's what I'm supposed to do. But I'm starting to think they have this idea that because I have multiple people sending me stuff, that I'm swamped all the time with work. Because like my supervisors were always like, "Man, this week has been crazy, huh?" And I'm like, well, I got to read like 2 volumes of Spider-Man, and I watched like, you know, it's like, and that was just Monday, you know. but yeah, so it's strange stuff like that. I got assigned something at work this week, which is actually the not technically the first, but the first like fully graphic design thing that I get to do there, which is what my degree was in. So I'm like, yes, I get to do some actual design work. This is amazing. Apparently one of the like summer interns that we have, she is wanting to do I don't know what the kids are doing these days on the Instagrams and all of that stuff. Thankfully, no. Because we're not the kind of department that would have like hashtag relatable content, if you know what I mean. But yeah, she is like, I think she's one of the social media like marketing interns, and so she's wanting to do these Instagram stories for our Instagram page. I didn't even know we had an Instagram page, but apparently we do. I don't know why anyone would want to follow. My computer froze. Our system overload. I'm hearing a buzzing in my thing. I don't know why everything is spazzing out. That's my microphone. That was weird. Okay, things are back to normal. Let me check the stream, make sure everything is okay. Things are looking good.
Okay.
I can now hear myself in... That's odd. Let's get back to... Well, let's see. What was the last thing that got recorded? Okay. I'm just gonna go and hit record again. Okay, we're back. So apparently we have an Instagram page. I had no idea we even have one. Don't know why anyone would even want to follow it, but
what is it for? Because I imagine the university has one, but does your like little sub department have one?
Specific department has one, yeah.
Weird.
But so she's wanting to do these Instagram stories. Apparently there's things that people are doing. It's like little quizzes or stuff like that. It can be this or that. Do you like morning classes or afternoon classes? Do you like eating at Schaefer or eating at Jonah's, or, you know, stuff like that? And so you screenshot it, and then you, I guess, edit the image to like circle the ones you want, or type in, you know, the name of your favorite teacher and stuff like that. So I don't really know exactly how that works. But I got to design those templates.
Rad.
And yeah, and they sent that work to me. They're like, hey, we have this thing we need you to design. Be working on this next week because your supervisors are going to be out at a conference most of the week. And so I was like, all right, yeah, sure. And then when I talked to the girl about what exactly it was, I was like, I can almost get those done today. Like, so I spent yesterday like an hour or two working on those, and I spent another hour or two on those today. And I haven't gotten to show those to her yet, but I'm pretty much done, unless she has like big major changes that she wants me to do or anything like that. And so again, I'm just gonna have nothing to do all next week. It's gonna be terrible.
We've kind of been like that lately because it's not just me. I had a bunch of titles moved from me to other people just to kind of even out everybody's workload. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
lighter than usual, which is good because I was crazy heckin' busy a couple months ago and I don't
Right.
want to go back to that. But everybody is super slow lately. So we
Huh.
think like middle of July is when scholars and academics just take it easy and don't submit papers.
School's out. It's vacations,
Yeah.
family time.
They're all at their
It's yeah,
cabins, they're all at their lake houses.
yeah.
One of my editors was like, "Hey, can you help me finish this thing before I leave? I'm going on holiday." And I'm like, "Yeah, I took care of it. Where are you going?" And he says, "Oh, I'm going to St. Petersburg for the Russian ballet."
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah, all
Like
these
I
fancy
said,
doctors and
y'all are
professors are
bougie.
going doing things like that.
So Melissa,
Yes.
I have some bad news
Oh,
that I don't know if you know.
ah,
I feel like you should know,
oh,
but I don't
oh,
think you do know.
I don't like the
Because,
suspense.
Melissa, you're rereading Artemis Fowl.
I am.
How is that going?
I like it. I've liked it since I was 10 years old. Every
Yeah,
time I reread it, I still like it, and it's been several years this time, and now I'm more of an adult than I've ever been. This is how time goes. I still love it. It absolutely holds up, and it is a delight to read.
good. Yeah, we've both loved this book for a long, long time. Uh, we talked about rereading the book because there's a movie which is like 20 years in the making.
Oh, yeah, the first
Um,
book came out in, like, 2000 to 2001, and
something
there's a
like that.
page in the
Yeah,
back of the book saying, "Look out for the upcoming movie."
yeah.
Which comes out
Uh,
here now in the year 2019.
that is the bad news, Melissa. It does not come out this year. It got pushed back to oh god, I had it pulled up on my phone to May 29th, 2020.
Excuse me?
You are excused.
No,
Uh
this is supposed to come out like a handful of weeks from now. There's
exactly.
posters for it. Every time I go to the movie theater, there's a poster saying Artemis Fowl, August 9th.
So, yeah, I noticed that cuz we had a poster for it in our movie theater, and then I guess the last movie we went to go see was Spider-Man, and I went past the spot where that poster used to be, and it's not there. And that was my first sign. I was like, huh, why would they change out the poster for a movie that isn't like is coming up soon, but it's not out yet? Like you would think they would want to advertise it. And then apparently this past week, I read somewhere, I forget where exactly, but yeah, it got pushed back to May 29th, 2020 because of the Disney Fox buyout. They had to shuffle around a bunch of dates and
Huh.
and stuff like that. And yeah, it's coming out next summer.
Why? Why would they do this to me
I
personally?
and yeah, and I see here you wrote like I'm rereading the book, and we had talked about
I
a
have
reactor
been so psyched.
core
Today,
episode.
today I asked a friend, "Hey, did you read those books when we were kids? I want to go see this movie. Do you want to come with me?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'll ask off work. That sounds great."
You might want to like tell
This
her,
is
hey,
my
don't ask
waking
off
nightmare.
yet.
They moved the office building on me.
Maybe you do live in a fantasy world
What?
now.
Why? Why? We waited so long. Why
It's
this
gonna be
one?
20
Why this
years.
one and not anything else? Huh?
Well,
Why?
the New Mutants is still getting it got moved around and stuff like
I've
that.
accepted that as a fact of its life. That is its life cycle.
Hey, New Mutants has nothing on the Artemis Fowl. 20 years in the making. Be on the lookout for the up and coming movie.
It was we saw a trailer. It looked really done. It looked perfectly
I think
good.
it's one of those things
Yes,
that
it
yeah,
looks very solid.
it's done. I think it's just one. I think maybe Disney had something else coming out or had multiple. I don't know. With the Lion King just being out, who knows? Yeah. but it got pushed.
Is this some sort of contractual deal where like Fox had a movie like coming out soon and they're like, okay, you have to prioritize these ones we already had in the making. Make the, take
Maybe.
care of these before you take care of your own. And Disney's like, yeah, cool, got it. Oh, dang. Oh, we got to move that boy. Just push that boy to May, I guess. May's
Who
that
knows?
I don't like that it's been delayed, but like May's more of a tentpole season than August is. At least they didn't push it to like
I don't know about that in terms of
January or
movies.
something weird. I mean,
I feel like August would be more of summer blockbuster.
no, blockbusters is like May. Think about it. Think about the big
Really?
May movies of past times. Um, uh, Endgame, Infinity War, Guardians 2.
And wasn't
More
Endgame
than
in
that.
March? Wasn't Infinity War in like
Very late
April?
April. I consider that late April to late May period. Like, here is where summer begins, where blockbusters begin.
Okay.
I
I
think
don't know.
late May is a more prestigious time slot than early August is. Not by much, but I think it is.
Hmm. I don't know.
So I haven't lost faith. There I will be, 29 years old, having waited since I was 10 or 11 years old. All already
Good
denied
stuff.
time after time. This is my supervillain origin story, Kyle. If they push it
Right?
back one more time, I'll wake up in the morning, I'll just have a scar. One of my hands is a hook somehow, and vengeance is mine.
Think about it. Like all of the superheroes in the comics that are happening or that have happened. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. All the old
All the
supervillains,
superheroes that have happened.
their origins are of their times, right?
This is an
What is
origin
the
for
thing
modern times.
Yeah, the things that happening now, it's like they're making an all-female Ghostbusters. What the hell? They moved this. I can't have this movie now. God damn it! Gonna go shoot up a building, and that's what happens. That's going to be someone's supervillain.
First they took away
origin.
my trees, now they take away my fairies.
That's
I
how it
don't like
starts.
this.
That's how they get you.
What next?
Yeah. Well, on the topic of movies and stuff like that, San Diego Comic-Con is happening right now.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Sure. Christmas in
It's
July.
Christmas, Halloween, whatever your respective birthday is. Comic-Con. And I'm a big fan of Valentine's Day, but I realize that one's just me.
And I know this isn't necessarily big news, but there's not really much comic news. Like I was looking at some of the announcements that have came out today and yesterday, and it's all like movies and Netflix shows. We have a trailer for The Witcher Netflix series. The CW announced that Brandon Routh, is that how you
Routh?
Yeah, Routh. That he will be suiting up as Superman again in one of the like CW DC superhero crossover shows, which is neat because he also plays the Atom.
Yes, this is what I was going to ask. I was aware he was Superman once, but in this continuity, isn't he already a different guy?
Yes, he is. He is the Atom. He's basically their Ant-Man, where he can shrink really small or get really big, but he has a big suit that looks more like Iron Man. So that's how they made that work. And they actually did his like shrinking thing on TV before the Ant-Man film came out. So they beat Marvel to that. But yeah, he's been he's been playing that. They've made like jokes and references like, aren't you that one guy with the cape?
Yeah, yes.
And they're like,
Yes.
no, that's
I've
not
heard
me.
this.
That's not, yeah, you know. But they've been gearing up to do a Crisis on Infinite Earths
Oh, it's a big title.
over, a big one. Yeah, each year they do a big cross over with all of the shows, and it's like each week one of the shows has an episode in the big story, and it's usually one you don't even need to watch the entirety of all of those seasons if you want to just watch the crossover. You can, and just like it's 4 episodes. It's neat, but yeah, they've been
interesting
gearing up to do Crisis on Infinite Earths, and I guess one of the things that they just announced was that he will be Superman again, because they're going to go to an alternate Earth where he is Superman. You know,
this is related to another pop culture thing that has happened to us recently, which I won't specify for perhaps a late coming audience, but it's fun when you just make an actor be the same role again in a completely separate continuity.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What a delight.
Speaking of that, actually, today we are recording on July 19th. They just released Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which is a video game on Nintendo Switch. And it's just a button masher fighting game. But the actor that voice acted for Spider-Man in the PlayStation 4, like Marvel Spider-Man
game. Yuri Lowenthal?
Exactly. Yep. He's also playing Spider-Man in this game. So it's like, that's the Spider-Man that we know. But then it gets really strange because there's a Marvel's Avengers game. In it. Well, yeah, that. But there's a Marvel's Avengers game coming out soon. And
there's a really dumb joke, and I'm still laughing about it.
Did I miss something? I'm like,
you said it was gonna be strange, and I'm like, yeah, because Doctor Strange is in it, known as Doctor Strange, in his superhero life and also in his private life, because he is an MD. Dr. Stephen Strange he's gonna be in it. That's. Okay,
I just rolled right past it. I was like, yes, you're right. He will be in the game. Yes, I know. Purple is red and blue. Okay. But they're making a Marvel's Avengers game in which a very famous voice actor, Nolan North, I believe is playing Tony Stark?
Okay.
I could be wrong on that. But he is one of the main Avengers. However, he's a very prominent and prolific voice actor. And he also is playing Rocket Raccoon in Marvel Ultimate Alliance. So it's just like, well, okay, that's not. They had an opportunity there to have someone else be Rocket Raccoon, but oh well. But like I was saying, there's not much comic news. I've seen some stuff from Marvel. I haven't really seen too much from DC yet. But I guess Comic-Con is still going on, and I don't really know when anyone is doing their panels. I don't pay attention to San Diego Comic-Con as much as I do E3, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's you. I am upset. I would be upset theoretically about the lack of comic news, but in practice, you could tell me all the comic news in the world, and I would barely know what to make out of it.
The comic news I did see.
Yes, you're welcome to tell me.
Just so you can see how little of it. Of course, they posted that.
New spine designs for all the trade paperbacks.
They don't.
They wouldn't mess with the spines.
They mess with them all the time. That's like one of the worst things about comics.
bad spines.
It really is. I'm not even joking. It is the worst because they'll be like, all right, we're gonna put these books out in this design, and volume 1 comes out and it looks like that. Volume 2 comes out and it looks like that, and they match and it's great. And then volume 3 all of a sudden is just like the numbers are a little bit higher, the logo is now in blue when it should be in red. It's like, what? Why? Who approved this? Hire me. I can be in charge of making sure these all look nice.
Exactly.
But the one that I saw was Dr. Doom imagines a better future in a new ongoing from Marvel. That was a tweet from Newsarama. And
nice.
A picture of Dr. Doom. I was like, well, Dr. Doom is usually always up to something, you know.
I would be very delighted about their new comics lineup. Dr. Doom, who isn't up to anything. And it's just like, it's like that Hawkeye series, but it's Dr. Doom.
They kind of did
life.
That. They
I want to read
about
Dr. Doom's normal life.
He tried to be Iron Man for a while. And it was a weird thing where he was like, guys, I'm a good guy. Believe me. And then
listen, I know my last name is Von Doom, but
that was the whole shtick. They're all just like, we don't believe you. But shortly after that, Marvel also announced that they will be returning to their 2099 comics, which was big in the 90s, in which they had Spider-Man 2099, and it was what if Spider-Man was in the future, and what would he look like, and all that stuff. And they released an image 80 years ago. It was 1939. 80 years from now, it'll be 2099.
That's
November 2019. And it's just like, you guys, really, you almost missed the entire year. Your whole ad was almost wrong. 2 months. And it would have been wrong. Like, what? Why? Why is this? And so, if Dr. Doom is thinking of a better future, and then they announce something about, hey, in Marvel 2099, something is happening.
Oh.
That could be a big thing.
He did it.
Also,
yes,
they announced the return. I guess it's not really qualified to be a return. I don't know the terminology, but they announced a new teaser for another Annihilation series, which could be a hint for the movies.
Okay.
Because they often like to put some of their best writers on, or like the big events, or their best writers on series of characters that are in the MCU.
Okay. Now,
like a year or so before Guardians of the Galaxy came out, was like, hey, Brian Michael Bendis, you should start writing this book. And then, what do you know? They announced the movie, and it was like, "Hey, we have our star writer on this series. You should have been buying this all along."
Now you're gonna have to guide me here.
Mm-hmm.
Is Annihilation like a Carnage? Did I get that right?
Edumacation.
Is Annihilation like a symbiote sort of person?
How do you spell Annihilation?
ANNIHILATION.
I have the damn teaser pulled up on my phone.
Did I do it right?
ANNIHILATION. Marvel Annihilation. Of course, it's going to be all the recent news. According to the Wikipedia. If that works. There we go.
I can Google this too.
Annihilation is a 2006 crossover storyline published by Marvel Comics.
Oh, I thought this was a person, and the person was a symbiote. Who am I? Who am I thinking of?
There are other symbiotes. You're probably thinking of Carnage.
I thought,
the red one?
like, you know how there's Venom and he's like Charmander, and then there's Carnage and he's like Charmeleon. I thought Annihilation was like Charizard, like just worse and worse symbiote dudes.
I mean, there are
Did I
other
make up
symbiotes.
A guy entirely whole cloth? Or no cloth, I guess?
No, there are more symbiotes, but I wouldn't put them above Carnage.
Oh, he's the Charizard of symbiotes?
He's the bad one. Because Spider-Man is a good guy.
Yes.
Venom is probably usually a bad guy, but mainly he just hates Spider-Man.
He's like a chaotic neutral, okay.
I wouldn't even say chaotic neutral, but it like he tends to be a bad guy, but he's not always. And then there is Carnage, which is a symbiote attached himself to Cletus Cassidy, who's a serial killer.
This I knew.
So yeah, it would be like Spider-Man with the symbiote would be Charmander. Charmeleon would be Venom, and then Charizard would be Carnage.
I didn't know if there was a worse dude out there for a symbiote to attach itself to.
They made other symbiotes, but they were stupid and dumb.
Both? Really?
Yep, they were stupid and dumb.
Oh, wow. So Annihilation is an event. What happens in this event?
Plot summary. Thanos visits the intergalactic prison, the Kiln.
Yes, familiar.
With the help of Star-Lord, he defeats the Beyonder.
Yes, I know
Thanos
him too.
Also befriends Screet, a Chaos Mite.
New. A Chaos Mite?
I guess so.
I'll stop interrupting you. I'll let you read.
And enslaves a former Herald of Galactus, the Fallen One.
Oh.
That's kind of what it says. And then it goes into the plot summaries of all of the like separate spin-offs and stuff like that. I don't know. I actually don't know anything about Annihilation. I thought it had more to do with Annihilus.
Yeah.
Let's look up Annihilus, because I want to look up Annihilus.
Annihilus, 10 things to know. Okay, good. Because this is a name I've heard, and I'm not confident I know who it is.
So Annihilus is a fictional supervillain appearing in American comic books published by Marvel. First appeared in Fantastic Four Annual number 6, published in November of 1968. He was responsible for the attacks in the Annihilation comic book event. I guess it does have stuff to do with Annihilus. I'm really not familiar with him or this event. I haven't read it or anything like that. So there you go. What does he look like? Let's get some pictures up. Google
he
images.
Looks like an angry bug.
Yeah, he does. Ooh, look at this picture.
Kyle, can we do a Patreon bonus episode where I describe a comic book character to you and you have to guess who I'm talking about?
Yes.
You can do it at me too. This sounds fun.
Absolutely. So we've been thinking about, I guess we talked about it last week too, that we wanted to do Patreon exclusive episodes of the Captain's Log, because we've only done Patreon exclusive ones of the review show.
Yes.
This is one of our other podcasts. You guys should go check it out, thewhatnauts.com or wherever you get your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the first one we're going to do, which is not for, let's see. Yes, which would, I guess, be at the start of September. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to find out what Sailor Scouts we are.
I'm really looking forward to this because I can't guess.
Personality test thing. I'm wondering if I should have Jess find one so that I'd like neither of us find
Ooh.
one, and she gives it to us, and we both take
Okay.
it live on, or I guess not live, but we both take it at the same time.
Yeah.
And then do it that way instead of like me finding one
I'd like
and
that we
going
get a
through all
third
this stuff.
party.
That would be good. But then after that, if you want to do the let's describe a mystery comic book character and do all that, because we have this theme of like, let's do a game.
Yes.
Do you want to play a game? I think that would be nice.
That sounded almost like a Bane impression, and I know that's not what you were trying for.
It wasn't actually an impression of someone specific, but there are those Saw movies that all start like, let's play a game.
Puppet Man, yeah. I thought
Never
it was just a general silly voice that accidentally morphed into a Bane. Like, man loves games. Loves to frolic, Bane does. So speaking of personality tests, last week I went to a street art fair.
Okay, street art fair.
Or an art fair in a street.
Okay.
The art was not street specific. The fair was in a street.
Melissa, you don't look like the graffiti type.
I think if I was around too much spray paint, I'd just cough a lot and get dizzy. That sounds like a bad old time. It was an art fair in a street, and one of the shops along the street is a mystic store.
Okay, a mystic store.
For the audience at home, I wiggled my fingers around in a way that indicates mystic things.
Okay.
And one of the free offerings they had in celebration of this fair, they had like an art tent outside. They had free gelato samples, which was great.
Gelato was amazing.
They got an amaretto one. Very strong, high quality.
Nice.
They had free readings. And I think the flyer said tarot.
Like oh, yeah, like free tarot readings.
Cool. The flyer said tarot, but I think at the time I went, the person they had giving readings was not a tarot specialist. So you sign up for like a little 5-minute chunk, and you go into this back room with her. And it's this, tall old lady wearing a lot of like shawls and big patterned pants.
Okay. Yeah.
And she takes me back there and she's like, all right, well, do you have any goals? Do you have anything you want to learn? I'm like, I'm just sort of intrigued what you come up with without a direction. Just go for it. Whatever it is you're going to do it. She says, I'm going to read your colors.
Okay.
So she sort of sits there, looks at me, looks away, like taps a pen on her chin.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I'm getting a lot of navy out of you. Like a dark, kind of dusky navy. And this tells me you are a truth seeker and a truth speaker.
Okay.
Yeah. And you want to be more honest, and you can't always do that, and it frustrates you.
Did you tell her your name?
Well, I think she knew my name because it was on the sign-up sheet, and she had to like call me up, but she knew like dang nothing else about me.
Okay.
So she said, you're frustrated that you're not always able to say what you want to say. And I'm like, I'm not saying any of this. I'm just sort of thinking it like, yeah, I had a very specific moment at work earlier that day where it's like, do I have to send the template email? Can I just write my own email, please? I can do this. And then she says, I'm orange. And I don't think these are my colors all the time. Just like on that day, I was these colors. I was navy.
I'm blue.
Huh?
Dabba-deeb, dabba-die.
Dabba-die.
I tried to stay as straight faced as just yep. Matter of fact, I am blue. Dabba-deeb, dabba-die.
Orange, and she says this is a creative color, and sure. Again, you want more creative outlets and you're not getting them. And I'm like, yeah, let me write my own emails. Also, like, I throw a lot of time into work and household chores and things like that. And I'm like, when was the last time I made something that wasn't a cake? I don't know. And then she says, you're very yellow. The blue and the orange, they're a little muted. You're very yellow. This is mental. You're very mental. She said you have big brain energy.
Oh boy.
Like, yes. This is all tracking. Everything she says makes sense.
Okay.
And then she goes on to read me some cards. It's not tarot, it's something else. She told me what it was and I didn't recognize the word and I forgot it later that night. But she
Yu-Gi-Oh.
lays up. Huh?
I cracked myself up with that one.
What?
I said Yu-Gi-Oh. The psychic read my Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
I wish I could remember any Yu-Gi-Oh cards to make a joke now.
Blue eyes, white dragon.
Well, your soul is
dark magician.
Only the right arm of Exodia. And I think this means you have to go out there and you got to find your left arm of Exodia.
Yeah.
He's out there.
That adds up. Gotta get those legendary cards.
She reads me these cards, and she, like, one of the first ones she pulls up is a book. She's like, I'm getting a lot of books, knowledge, and learning. I'm like, are you a student? Are you a writer? And I'm like, I work in publishing, because everything she's been giving me so far, I'm relating it back to work. I'm like, I think this is just inadvertently like a career set of things, which makes sense. I just come from the office. I'm a very, as previously covered, I'm a company woman through and through, till death.
Okay.
And she pulls out a cross and she's like, do you have a religious book? And I'm like, I do. I have a journal called Theology and Sexuality, which doesn't get a lot of manuscripts, but I like it as a general concept. And it's always a delight when something does come in. And I'd been having a problem with that journal where like something wasn't working. And like I just sort of had to make do with this technical thing and just sort of move forward. Just like, well, it's not perfect, but I can't let this sit any longer because we're all about efficiency. And she's like, yeah, I think the cards are telling you just to stick to the fundamentals and like keep moving forward and apply all your big yellow brain energy. Get on with it. So yes, it was a very pleasant surprise.
Okay.
Like nothing was like crazy, like that was my grandmother's name. Like, it's not that, but like everything she said, like, yeah, I've got something back there for it. And maybe this is me, you know, I'm a fox molder. I'm a big wide-eyed believer. But I had a really lovely time, and I would recommend a person to try it if they should also have the opportunity to do it 5 minutes for free at a street fair.
Same.
What are you looking at?
Have you ever seen, actually, what is the show? Oh, it's called Shut Eye.
No.
On Hulu. It's a Hulu original show called Shut Eye. I really like the show. I think it was only 2 seasons long, but it is about a con man who is posing as a psychic. And it's kind of this weird, like, almost crime show, but not really. Almost magical realism, but not really.
Oh,
kind of show. It's kind of like Breaking Bad in the sense that like they keep digging themselves deeper and deeper
like
into this.
Psych, in that it's somebody lies about being psychic.
Almost. So this guy actually is a con man.
Okay, yes.
And
like
he is doing psychic readings and tarot card readings and stuff. He has his own business. That's what he does for a living. But there's like a network of psychics, and that's where the crime aspect of the like Romani families run certain psychic reading locations and stuff like that, and that's their territory and stuff like that. But one of the things that they eventually like so again, he's a con man. There's, I think in season 2 they recognize that he has a lot more talent. He kind of goes into the like self-help speeches and stuff like that, and going on tours and giving seminars and stuff like that. but still with a lot of the same techniques that he used when he was conning people in this little psychic shop that he ran, where basically if he knew the person's name, he could search him up on the like he had someone else like in the building who was searching them on Facebook, on Google, all of that stuff, just based off their name, and they were finding all sorts of stuff.
Ooh.
And he had the little like Bluetooth thing in his ear, or would get text messages periodically that had information about them, and that's how he would be like, I feel like you're yellow, which means you're are you a student? And you're like, I work in academic journals. By just typing your name and the town you live in, I see pictures of you. I see.
Are they nice pictures?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure. I mean, it's just
That's
ones that were
concern.
on social media and stuff. I see you on Pinterest. I see you on Twitter. I see newspaper clippings of someone who has the same name, but died in 1985.
Oh no!
I see a website, melissawilkinson.net.
Not me.
They look like to be some artist that does
There's art Melissa's out there, yeah,
like flower portraits and watercolors, so they can find you, and based off of this will like say something like, yeah, big brain energy. You read a lot? Are you a student? And you're like, I work in academic journals. And it's like, how did you know that? Not that all of this stuff is fake. I don't really know how it all works. I don't know if I believe in it and stuff like that. But if that is something you as a listener out there put stocks into, sure, there might be people who do it without all that stuff.
Yeah, it's something I don't really seek out, but like most of the times I've just happened upon like a horoscope. I read it and I'm like,
that's why I asked if you had told them your name.
Only my first name. I didn't have to write down the last name.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. She's
so,
innocent.
It's one of those things where, right, you saw that horoscope and you're like, I guess that fits, or I kind of want it to fit, so I'm gonna make it fit.
No, it does.
That's good. That's fun.
I know round holes and round pegs.
Sure.
But I looked at my horoscope this week, delivered to me straight from Spotify, the source I trust.
They do horoscopes?
It made a lot of sense. Oh yeah, Spotify is building monthly playlists based on your horoscope. Yeah, and they'll send you like, here's a playlist of songs and they kind of back up whatever your message is this week, like work ethic or friendship or whatever it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I thought they had like when you sign in, like, here's your horoscope. I was like, why are they doing that?
You've got mail. Here's the local temperatures. Yeah. And here's a fun fact.
Like, that's something you can have your Amazon Echo do.
Give me my horoscope?
You can have it be like, hey, what's my horoscope? Dang. And it will tell you your horoscope.
I don't got one, but my brother's got one, and I'm going to try both and see if they give me the same answer.
Well, it might be connected to his account, so it might tell you his horoscope. I don't know.
No, one's a Cancer, one's an Aquarius. That ain't me. I have to go to another house.
You could probably ask it, hey, what is the horoscope for Scorpios?
Yeah.
Or what is the horoscope for Sagittarius?
Which one are you?
I'm a Scorpio.
Aha.
Yes. Aha. It's like, that explains everything.
Can survive a desert.
What was I was going to say something. I don't remember. Oh, did the psychic say anything else? What was it just like, you are yellow, you are blue?
I'm blue, dabba-dee dabba-die. orange, yellow. And she's like, yeah, just sort of stick to the fundamentals. And she said, get more colors in my life. Like I should use colors for things. So like all I color right now is a spreadsheet. So maybe I should get myself into like actual art, you know.
There you go.
Give me a coloring book, do something. She said that's good for me, which I think is general life advice that'd be good for anybody, but she said it and I sincerely believed it. Yes, I
Spice it
should
up.
color more things for my soul.
I was listening to a podcast this morning, and I think, what was it, the Game Informer show? I think so. I think it was the Game Informer show. One of the people that was on it was like, yeah, I've been getting back into some of the older Mario games and stuff like that because Super Mario Maker 2 just came out, so I've been revisiting some of the old stuff, and they were like, it's good. I like they hold up. They are good games, and they have this real like coloring book style vibe. It's just vibrant and it's fun. And there's not many other games that do that. And they were like, "Have you played like Yoshi's Island and stuff like that?" And
Scribblenauts.
Yeah, and he's like, "No." And they're like, well, you should play that if you like coloring book type of stuff, or just buy a coloring book.
That too. Yeah.
And it was just this dumb thing where they're like, you should just buy a coloring book, dude. That sounds like that's what you need. I've never had a psychic stuff. I was hoping maybe we could do. I wonder if there's an online thing. Like
there could be online tarot.
Card.
James reminded me we do have a friend that does tarot, but I will have to ask her, like, how easy could you do this to my friend over the internet?
Yeah, if that's a thing, then I say we do that for one of the Captain's Logs episodes. That could be real fun.
So, it does sound really cool. I had a tarot reading once at my high school graduation lock-in, and it was incredibly bland and generic. And that one I didn't believe in. But I think as a concept, I think it could definitely work.
Yeah. Good stuff. You have two things on here.
Do I?
The 50th anniversary of Man plus Moon.
Yes.
And aliens you could fight. Does that have anything to do with all this Area 51 shenanigans that's been happening this week? Which I have no idea why it is happening.
What's new with Area 51? What did it do?
I don't know, but all of a sudden there was a ton of memes. And I just didn't.
Because of Moon.
I just didn't bother to look it up. But it was all Area 51 specifically, not like the moon. So I'm wondering if they actually released an official document that confirmed that it exists. Because wasn't it one of those things that it's like it unofficially exists? We all know it exists, but they haven't actually said that this is an official thing.
I would need to confirm this. I don't exactly know. I feel like somebody told me once, and then I forgot.
Sure.
Like I've got room in my head for like a lot of old X-Files episodes, but not real things about aliens.
Yeah, you're not sure what's real and what's X-Files here. So yeah, the 50th anniversary of us landing on the moon?
Yes.
Is that what it is? Okay.
We took off from Earth on Monday or Tuesday, I think. Like the 16th is when human beings launched from Earth. And the 20th, tomorrow, 50 years.
Oh wow.
Since Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin set foot on the moon.
Fun fact, Melissa. I've shook Buzz Aldrin's hand. I've got to meet him in person.
How?
My elementary school is named after him.
What?
And he would come every year and give speeches. And yes, our rival high school was in fact Neil Armstrong High School. He went to that school all the time. Yeah. I've got to meet Buzz Aldrin.
Wow.
Jake is saying he was a real young lad.
He's from Virginia?
I don't think so.
Why is your school named after him then?
It beats me. I don't know. Let's see. Buzz Aldrin. Where did you grow up? Buzz Aldrin Wikipedia.
Why did you not tell everybody this, like, immediately? Hi. Welcome to the
Born
Whatnauts.
in Glen Ridge, New Jersey. Oh, no, he's not from Virginia.
That's the same time zone.
East Coast, but it's not the same. So did you guys, I'm assuming the answer is no, because we were named after Buzz Aldrin, our school was very science and technology focused. And we often had like week-long, I guess, like space camp themed stuff, where like I feel like it was certain rooms in the school they kind of decked out or changed to like fake like it was a space station or stuff like that, and we would go in and we would do activities and stuff like that and learn what it was like to study rocks on the moon or stuff like that.
Rocks.
And I remember, I want to say it was 3rd grade. We had someone come in, and they were more of like a musician, artist kind of thing. Like, not actually space or like science related, but they came in and would like try and make it more fun. Especially for
more
the ones who like
more fun than space,
but like
they needed to amp up space.
There weren't like not every kid is into science. Not every kid is into math or stuff like that, and you know, science and technology stuff. Yeah, so that's exactly what we did. Let's do more artsy stuff. Let's draw a picture of space. Let's sing a song about space. And I remember having a weird memory with this. So during that week, that was, I mean, I don't know if it was just my school or not, but we were always like, yeah, one day we're going to have a colony on Mars by 2015. And that's what they would tell us. And we were like, yeah, that's what the government is working toward. Like, not even like one kid asked, like, will we ever live on Mars? And them just being like, oh, you're so cute. Yeah, of course we'll live on Mars. Like, no, it's not that. It was actual, like, we had textbooks that was like, yes, by 2015, we will have colonies on Mars.
Wow.
And
we didn't.
They lied to us. And it was the worst. But
I read a book once that told me a movie was going to come out in the early 2000s,
right?
And it didn't either.
So my mom used to play piano.
Oh.
Okay. And she ended up buying a keyboard, one of those electronic like Casio keyboards. In the like late 90s, early 2000s.
We had one too.
Oh yeah, lots of people did.
Was this also from like the Home Shopping Network?
It could be. I don't know.
I feel like that's where Dad got ours. Continue.
This was my mom that got it, not my dad, who we have told his knife story.
Shopping habits. Well, I brought home 200 keyboards. We're gonna sell them to the other moms for Mother's Day.
Yeah, exactly. No, so we had this keyboard, and I would play with it because it would be one of those ones where you could like pick the genre, and the keys would be different things, or you could hit the like automatic play. Yeah, and it would like have some song that was themed on all of that stuff. Well, back in the day when I was messing with that, I didn't really know many different genres of music or what they exactly meant.
Yeah.
And so I saw one, house, and I had no idea what house music was. And so during Space Week, this like art music teacher kind of person came in and was like, "We're gonna make a song about space. What genre should it be in?" And of course, all the other kids are my age, and they also don't know what the word genre means or all of that stuff. And so she's like, "What should it be? A rock and roll song? Should it be a hip hop song? Should it be a jazz song? What should we do?" And so no one raises their hand, so I raise my hand, and I'm like, "Let's make a house song." And she just like I was sitting at a group table, almost front row, and she was standing like 2 feet away from me, and I don't remember what she said exactly, but it was the most like dismissive, like,
Oh.
"You really want to make a house song?
Oh.
Like, really?" And I was just like, "I'm sorry for raising my hand. I shouldn't have said anything like everyone else." And it was just, and I never really knew what house music was until college, and I actually learned to dance, and I learned to like do like house and stuff like that. And house is actually really cool. It has an awesome like style. It has an awesome history. All of that stuff. So, but that's like, I don't know why. It's just one of those like weird memories I have from elementary school.
I liked it. Like, I hadn't thought about the keyboard my family had in a long time.
So I took it to college.
The keyboard?
Yeah. And I lost it somehow. I don't know. I don't know how.
Was it not one of the big old ones? Was it little?
It was a big one.
How'd you lose an entire full-size keyboard?
Wherever I kept it, it just disappeared. Someone stole it. Like, I didn't move it. It was just gone one day. And then my mom was like, "Whatever happened to that keyboard?" I was like, "I don't know. Nothing, Mom. Next topic."
I think ours just got fried in a thunderstorm.
That also reminds me of another instrument that I had. I used to have an acoustic guitar when I was really little. And I remember we had people over one evening for like a barbecue or something. And their kid was playing with the guitar and stuff like that. And I could have sworn they brought it in. But it was just one of those things, like, end of the day, I wasn't really paying attention, didn't know what happened to the guitar. 2 days afterwards, I can't find it. I don't know.
Oh.
The, like, I don't know how much time in my mind I want to be like, a week later, the guitar shows up in our backyard.
Ah!
Except whatever night they dropped it off on, there was also a huge thunderstorm, and it was pouring rain, and the wood on the front of the guitar like popped off and like curled up. And so I walked outside to this like tuna fish can of a guitar. I was just like, "Oh, that's my guitar. Why is it? What happened?" So that was the end of my guitar.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. my guitar. Oh well.
Today I watched a Google Doodle video about the third person on the moon trip. It's Buzz, it's Neil, it's this guy Mike Collins. And while Buzz and Neil were romping around the moon, Mike sat in the spaceship and watched it, so no aliens would get it or big rocks or anything. And it's just him talking about the trip to the moon. It's like a 4-minute video you click on from the Google Doodle. I watched that thing and sobbed like a baby. I got really, really emotional about so many people came together. 400,000 people came together to send 3 humans to the moon. And the humans go to the moon and they look at Earth. And we're little bitty. We're like a quarter. We're that small. Everything everything we've ever known that has ever happened. It's that little, and that's all of us.
That's what she said.
I'm having a moment, Kyle. Me and the moon.
Look, you said it was little. It was that little.
There's Earth, and everything we've ever known and ever will know happens on it, and it's small, and that's all of us. Like, as many differences as people have, we can go up to somebody else and say, well, we all live on Earth together. This is all ours. Like, I'm looking at Earth, teeny tiny Earth, little blue speck. I'm like, that's my home. That's where I live. You know me. I have a tremendous amount of pride for, like, my office. I want to sit at that same desk forever. I love my city. I never want to live anywhere besides St. Louis. Like, I have a lot of localized pride. And Earth too. I'm proud to be from Earth. I don't want to ever be from somewhere that's not Earth.
If we didn't actually, or if we did have a colony on Mars, you wouldn't have like the slightest bit of like, I kind of want to live on Mars.
No, I like it here. There isn't a Missouri on Mars. There's only one here.
There could be New Missouri.
No, I like mine.
We have New York. Why can't we have New Missouri?
I like mine. I want to drive down the same road to get to my parents' house.
There could be a Wilkinsonville.
Huh.
Or a new Wilkinsonville. If there already is a Wilkinsonville here.
I like it here. Like, I might go to Mars to visit, but it takes so long. I don't think I'd want to leave for more than like 3 weeks. That's scary going to space for like years. Sure. And years. I like it here. And to see so small. That's Earth. That little dot is Earth. It's us. And everybody worked together. We're going to send these folks to the moon. And they put a plaque on the moon saying, hey, everybody else, Earth was here. Earth was here and we came in peace. And I think that's what the moon means. You look up there and it's peaceful. You think, well, no matter what happens, moon is there. And we all get the same moon. Nobody has a better moon. Like, anything about yourself. Rich people don't have different, better moon. It's all one moon for everybody, Kyle. Like, we get one moon and one Earth, and we went from Earth to the moon.
One nation, under the moon, indivisible.
I'm very emotional about everyone. Like very, very abstract things. Like, I don't know yet how to put into words. I just watched a video about the moon and cried a lot.
So you kind of reminded me of something that happened to me in high school. Yeah? This will be the story that we end the podcast with. You aren't as bad as the story that I'm about to tell, or the person that is in this story, but the idea of like you getting emotional about these things that like lots of people did or stuff like that kind of reminded me of something. So I'm an art kid.
You are.
I've mentioned that multiple times.
Well-established fact.
Kind of mentioned in passing, I think, that I managed to make my senior year in high school mainly art classes. Like I was ahead in all of my, or most of my subjects. So when I met the requirements of like, that's all you needed to take, I just stopped taking those. And I was like, I'm going to take more art stuff. So I took some AP art classes, and the AP art, my AP art sculpture class was basically like, you don't have enough of you to make an actual class out of, so you're gonna be like a table of you, and you're gonna sit in on a regular class, but I'm not gonna actually be teaching you. You guys can do what you want. And it was basically like our AP test was just to turn in our portfolio. So it was like you had to make a total of 10 pieces by the end of the year, and that was it. The teacher didn't give us instructions or stuff like that. It was just like, just go make your stuff. So we goofed off the entire year and just
Oh.
made the stuff back at home. My dad is a big gun nut. He likes to do the pew pew pew.
Same also, yes.
Yeah, and so we would go shooting from time to time, and there are gun shells everywhere. I guess we did kind of have prompts if we wanted them, of like, hey, make a sculpture with like 50 or more of something you've collected, stuff like that. And so I took that one and was like, I'm gonna make a sculpture out of bullet shells. And so I did. And I made a peace sign out of bullet shells. And actually, I don't think I made that one for the AP class, but the following year in that AP, I took that same concept and was like, I'm gonna make something bigger with bullet shells. And so I made an American flag. And bullet shells that you can get at a store or stuff like that are going to be gold. If you are a cop or if you're in law enforcement, your shells are silver. So that way, if there's like a gunfight or stuff, you can tell who is who.
Okay.
Or supposedly. But so yeah, we went to the gun range and I just collected buckets of these shells because after you shot a whole bunch, you had to clean them up, and they had a broom and a big bucket you could stick them in. And I was just like, can I just take these empty shells? And they're like, yeah, sure, just go for it. So I made this sculpture known as American flag out of bullet shells. I had some shells were face up, with the hole on top, which made it darker, and then some of them were turned upside down, so it had the like solid like back end of the like gold or silver stuff like that. And then I think the stars were the silver ones and stuff like that. But I walked into school the morning that I was turning that one in, and here I am. Most of those kids don't actually know what bullet shells actually look like. And so I'm walking down the hallway with this big sculpture of just a ton of bullet shells. And the ROTC teacher walks by me, and he does this big double take, like, what in the world are you doing? And then I walk into my art class, and I set the sculpture down, and it's on this table. It is a heavy sculpture because it's basically all metal.
Yeah.
But the way I had worked it out, I was in the same classroom before and after lunch, but for different classes. So I turned it in that morning, went to lunch, came back, and there's a bunch of people surrounding my piece. Of course, I walk up as like artists like to do when they're like showing their pieces and stuff, and just listen to the conversations and stuff. And I could hear some people commenting, and finally someone asked who made it, and I was like, it was me. And so they asked me some stuff like, what are these? And I go, oh, these are bullet shells. And the girl that asked me what they were, this short little Asian girl. She was a little bit overweight. She was one of the people in high school that you could tell just didn't have very many friends. And I think this was the first time that I had spoken to her, and she had asked me like, "What are these?" And I was like, "Oh, these are bullet shells." And you can just see her get like almost confused, and then horrified, and then like really sad, and like I have this thing in my mind like, I wonder what she's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, should I ask, like, so what do you think of the piece? But before I can say anything, she goes, wow, a lot of people died to make this artwork. And I had to do everything I could not to just burst out in laughter. And it was like, no, I shot most of these myself. Like, I went to the gun range and shot these myself.
Just, yeah, a piece of paper, I guess, isn't around anymore.
That target sure bit the dust.
You'd gone to, hi, police station, it's me, a young man. When you're done with all this evidence, can I have it for sculpture class? Thanks. Yeah, I'll clean the blood off of it myself or whatever might be on it.
Right.
Any debris, any particulates, don't worry. I got it. I am a young man in art class.
Amazing. And it was just like, you could tell she was confused. Like the gears were turning. Bullet shells. Oh my god, bullet shells. Oh no, bullet shells. Oh no.
They're not always for death. Sometimes they are just for sport.
Practice or for sport? Yeah, or just like relieving stress. Like, I need to just go to the range and just shoot a gun. Yeah. And it was one of the funniest things in the world to me.
Oh my god. Just briefly, my dad is also that his entire side of the family, they love marksmanship. They're not hunters. They just love target shooting, like very deeply and sincerely, and they're all very well practiced at it. And they'd always do this together out at my grandparents' farm because it's like middle of dang nowhere, nobody around, like all of this land is mine. I'll just set up a target in the backyard because there's nothing around we can hit. And I grew up with them going out to do this. And when I'm like 18 or something, Dad's like, do you want to try? And I'm like, well, as a Wilkinson, I guess so. Not as Melissa, but as a Wilkinson. Like, I feel like this is, I owe it to you to try at least once. Part of the family heritage. It's like, what if I didn't eat barbecue?
Did you shoot your eye out?
I got him. I got him right here. So it's basic target shooting. And I'm like, okay. That was that. Like, it's not remotely thrilling at all. Like, I didn't get
probably
the
a 22. Is that what you were shooting?
Yeah, I don't know. Remember? A little one, like about the shape and size of a finger gun.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. No, like, it was fine. I wasn't like, boy, fun, thrilling, exhilarating. It was just like, oh, this is more stressful than anything else. But
it's stress relieving.
One time we had a crossbow.
Ooh, those are fun too.
That is a thrill. I would love to shoot a crossbow again.
Melissa, people are going to have to join us next week for the Captain's Log when I tell you a story about winning an archery competition.
What? How many skills do you have?
Yeah, find out next time on the Captain's Log. So yeah, this has been episode 59 of the Captain's Log. Melissa, where can they find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT.
And I am on Twitter and Instagram, even though I have no idea what those Instagram stories are that I'm designing. But I'm on there at Yo Kyle Springer. We are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. If you guys want updates for this show or any of the other podcasts that we do, we are at thewhatnauts.com for more information. That's where you can get all that stuff. You can find this podcast or any of the other ones we do by searching the Whatnauts wherever you get your podcasts. Last little bits of housekeeping here. Last week on this show, it went out to all of the lads out there. I am a good lad.
You are.
So says Sam.
Yes.
And I had to explain to Melissa that purple is a mix of red and blue.
A normal fact, we all know, that you took it upon yourself, like, oh, I'd better clarify this and make sure everybody's aware.
It was probably the hardest you've laughed at anything since you've, like, started.
Ever.
Yeah.
like, I can't, and I would try to describe it to other people, and I would break down laughing. Like, I can't.
It's one of those, like, you had to be there things. Go listen to that one. It is well worth it. Over on the review show, we covered Metropolis, the anime film based off the Osamu Tezuka manga, directed by Rintaro, with a script from Otomo, who created Akira, who, by the way, this past week was the date that the Akira movie took place. And unfortunately, the day that happened was also the day that they announced Taika Waititi would be on Thor 4, and thus putting the Akira movie that he was signed on to direct on the back burner.
Oh, he's going to do Akira?
Yeah, he had signed
after
on.
Another Thor.
But then he was like, you know what, I'm actually going to do Thor 4. So the Akira movie is back to development hell. Who knows when that will go.
There shall it languish.
But we covered Metropolis last week on the review show. Coming up on the review show, maybe the cutest anime ever.
It's
Sweetness
adorable.
and Lightning.
Yes.
You guys can go watch that on Crunchyroll. It's only 12 episodes long. Be on the lookout for that. We also have a Spider-Man Far From Home spoiler cast on the Reactor Core, which is one of our other podcasts. That's the Reactor Core, CORPS. There you go. We have a brand new exclusive episode of the Whatnauts review show on 1776. Melissa, do you want to mention what that is?
Yeah. Speaking of space, 17,776 is we're going to call it a web comic, kind of online multimedia narrative. Yeah. About 3 sentient satellites out in space that look down on Earth in the year 17,776 and watch humans play massive games of football that take decades and are played across entire states. It's really interesting, kind of heartwarming comic. You know, a lot of the feelings I had looking at the little Earth speck from the moon, you will have feelings like this. Deep existentialist feelings reading this comic about satellites and football.
Exactly. But coming up very soon, we will have another exclusive episode of the Whatnauts review show on For the Man Who Has Everything, which is a Superman story written by Alan Moore, art by Dave Gibbons. It was in Superman Annual number 11 from, I think, 1985 or 86. We are going to be reading that and watching the episode of Justice League Unlimited that is based off of that very same comic. So Superman Annual number 11 and Justice League Unlimited Episode 2. Both of those can be found on DC Universe, their app there. So we thought we would do a compare and contrast episode with that. Should be good.
Classic comic story I've always heard the name of, and I've never read it. I'm excited.
It's probably a reference to something else. I should probably look it up for when we actually record it.
Maybe it's just like some old Mad Men sort of thing where it's like, don't know what to get your husband for Christmas? Get him the Norelco razor for the man who has everything.
Yeah, something like that. I think that's all the boring housekeeping stuff that I'm sure everyone tunes out for. If you do like what we do here at The Whatnauts, patreon.com/The Whatnauts is where you can support us at the $1 tier. You get exclusive live streams of The Whatnauts review show. You get episodes early. At the $3 tiers where you get all of our exclusive content and all of that stuff. And we want to give a big shout out to everyone at the $5 tier. So thank you, as usual, to Sam and Christine for helping us out and keeping the mics on, keeping the lights on. Yeah, it's so neat that there are people out there paying us.
Yeah.
To do this.
You could
nonsense.
spend that extra $5 on nail polish or something, and you don't. You give it to us.
But instead, you hear me explain that purple is red and blue.
Quality!
Yeah, the quality content, ladies and gentlemen.
You help keep it up.
That being said, let's get out of here. This has been episode 59 of The Captain's Log. We will see you next week. Adios.
Bye.
Thank you so much for checking out that episode of The Captain's Log. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, like, share, subscribe, do all this stuff, sell your soul, tell a friend, tell a foe. Go subscribe to our channel. Up there, we got all sorts of podcasts, including this one. That's right down here. Who knows? It might be one of our other shows. Might not be The Captain's Log. Go check it out. That would help us out a ton. You know the deal. We'll see you next time. Adios.